It is finally done. We are at 100% when it comes down to Team Affinity 2, and if I had to start all over again, this is what I would do. Step number 1, we're going to call it step 0 because it's actually going to be an optional step. And what is it going to depend on? It's going to depend on how many stubs you have or how many duplicates you have inside of your inventory that you are comfortable trading in for Team Affinity points. We go down all the way to exchanges inside of the Team Affinity task, and in each division you will find 7 exchanges that you can go ahead and complete. These exchanges in total will go ahead and give you 26,250 Team Affinity points, and with 26,250 Team Affinity points, if we go all the way to the beginning of the reward path, that's going to be 1 Future Stars card as well as 1 Captain card. So you are going to start building off that squad that you're going to grind offline or online with almost instantly without ever having to actually play a game. Completing these exchanges may seem a whole lot more difficult than they should be, but luckily for us, there is a website that is able to make it all a whole lot simpler for us, and that website is called showzone.gg. The website has a ton of features that you can use to your advantage, and we're not sponsored, by the way, just in case you guys think we are. I just love the way things are done on this website. But you can go to the market tab and then go to exchanges. In exchanges, you can customize the exchange cost. So if we're looking to get 10,000 Team Affinity points, inside of here we would put 300,000 points, and then we would go by the total cost, and we can sort the total cost to see how much it would cost us in terms of buy orders, cards we need, and total cost, and how much the card is selling for right now. So if we were looking to complete the NL West in particular, we know that Chris Taylor is currently selling for 25 stubs. So if we put 195 buy orders, we would be able to do the 10,000 Team Affinity points exchange for the NL West. And you can go ahead and scroll down and look by each division which players are selling for the lowest amount. Sometimes it's going to be a 74 overall, and at other times it can be a 73 overall. But you can look through each division, see how many cards are needed and what the total cost is going to be. That way the exchanges are the most cost efficient for you, especially if you do not have a ton of stubs. So keep in mind that completing all of these exchanges, you would be putting in a ton of buy orders, so you might want to get an auto clicker and download the app on your phone and then set up an auto clicker to just put a ton of buy orders at 25 stubs or whatever the amount of stubs it is that you need to do in order to have it prioritized to you. But we're going to be right here along the reward path. Up next is a pretty simple task. It's going to be the moments. Inside of the moments, you are getting yourself a total of 7,500 Team Affinity 2 points. And in total right now, that's going to put us to 33,750 Team Affinity points, which is going to allow us to get ourselves another Future Stars card. So make sure as you guys are selecting the players from each division that you have an Excel sheet or a notepad and you are filling out either a Future Stars or a Captain player in each and every single position, because it's going to be a lot more useful later on. And if there are 2 players that you selected that play the same position, then put player 1 and then player 2 right next to each other just in case, so you don't forget and then never do that stat mission or PXP mission. It's a whole lot more simpler for you to do the moments if you go to the home screen of MLB The Show and then enter into quick play and then do the moments from there, because it will not continue to kick you out. You just go to Team Affinity, and once you complete a moment, it's going to keep you in this screen, and it's going to be a whole lot faster since you don't have to load back to the home screen of Diamond Dynasty and then go all the way back to the moments if it is still that way. But if you guys are enjoying this so far, do me a favor, hit that like button or subscribe button, notification bell. Check out the description for the Discord, Twitch, social medias, and how to become a member. We stream every single day from 8 p.m. Eastern to 1 a.m. Eastern. Once done with moments, we are not done with offline grinding yet, and we're still not using the players either. Now we have to do the showdowns, and the showdowns, they combine the divisions. So the AL East and the NL East is combined into the East Showdown. If you need any help with any of the mini bosses or any of the final bosses, or how you should draft your initial drafts, don't you worry. If you go ahead and check out the channel by clicking into the channel and then select the playlist category, you will see that I have a 23-showdown playlist. Inside that playlist, I go into each and every single division showdown and I tell you what you should draft as well as the perks you should be looking for to help you have exit velocity boost at all times, because that's what's most important. I also tell you specific mini bosses that have specific challenges you have to complete and what base runner you should start inside of the lineup, as well as whether you want a left-handed or right-handed hitter up, as well as the bunt trick. Once the showdown has been completed for each division, that's going to go ahead and put us at 53,750 Team Affinity 2 points. So we're getting an additional captain's pack as well as an additional future stars pack to use. In step number 3, you are going to look into the Excel sheet, the notepad, whatever it is that you went ahead and tracked down each player you selected and build out the squad. You're going to make sure that there is a player in each and every single position that you can use to your advantage. And for when it comes to captain stat missions, because sometimes you complete them in your first at bat, inside of the bench you want to have some additional guys you either need more captain stat missions to complete with or PXP missions with, so you can go ahead and substitute them instantly. The same thing goes for starting pitchers, but one thing I would do, especially since we're heading to Conquest next, is always make sure that the pitcher I'm using is the 5th best overall. That way, whenever I face the CPU, we're also facing their 5th best overall. A cool thing you can do is, if you have an all 92 overall squad, let's say you picked 5 starting pitching captains, as soon as the 5th one pitches, just swap them with the 4th one, and then swap the 5th one once you have swapped them with the 4th one with the 3rd one, and then go ahead and continue on swapping them to the 5th slot. That way they are always the 5th best overall, since they are all the same overall. And if the game is within 3 at any point and you bring in a reliever, that's what's going to count as a save, because I know that there are some stat missions that you need to get saves with. With roughly 50,000 Team Affinity 2 points, we're gonna head into the Conquest maps. It doesn't matter which Conquest map you start off with, but I went ahead and did the Kaiju Conquest map first. If I could restart, I wouldn't have even looked at that Conquest map until I had completed any of the Team Affinity Conquest maps, because me grinding out some of the stat missions as well as PXP missions for Team Affinity, it did not benefit me at all instead of starting out in Team Affinity Conquest maps, because the Team Affinity Conquest maps would have given me more players. I ran out of players to do missions for, but it doesn't matter which of the Team Affinity Conquest maps you start off with. I have a guide to every single Conquest map. 23-Conquest is where you guys are going to find it. But by completing each and every single Conquest map, you're going to receive an additional 30,000 Team Affinity 2 points, as well as completing stat missions and future stars missions, as well as incognito missions, because eventually you will be able to obtain those incognito cards. You are going to unlock these incognito players. Now, these incognito players are very crucial going down the line. So once you have completed, let's say for example, all the future stars PXP missions and stat missions, you might want to keep the incognito players despite them not having specific stat or PXP missions inside of your lineup. Why? Because it is repeatable for you to get 1,000 PXP with them. So if you are playing Conquest and you are on the final stages, or even mini seasons and you are on the final stages, by having these incognito bosses, you are going to allow yourself, especially if you put all 5 from a division, even though here only 3 would be active at once since 2 others are starting pitchers, it would allow you to get a ton of PXP and be able to repeat that mission a whole lot faster and a whole lot more often, especially if you are facing the Conquest maps at the easiest difficulty. So let's say we completed all of the stat missions and the future stars missions, and we have done all the incognito missions at least once, which is more likely than not by the time you finish all of the Conquest maps inside of MLB The Show. You would be roughly at 123,750 Team Affinity points, and I haven't counted any of the incognito missions repeating. So now what you're going to do is you have 2 options as step number 5. You're either going to go into offline game modes inside of single players, and you are going to play mini seasons. And mini seasons, you are going to be tackling Team Affinity 2 mini season, because it gives you a voucher for every 5 games you win. You want to use a custom stadium or use one of the high elevation stadiums like Shieldwoods Park, Capitol Lane Stadium, Laughing Mountain Park, Coors Field. That way you hit more extra base hits and get more parallel XP. And when it comes to the pitchers, if they need 3 innings pitched, keep them in there the entire game. At the end of the day, yeah, winning is going to be important because of the mini season vouchers, but you care more about completing those stat missions. If you don't want to do it through mini seasons, there are 2 repeatable Conquest maps in the Nation of Baseball and Smooth Jazz that you can complete. Or if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to work on specific stat missions or getting PXP knocked out as fast as possible, you can also enter play versus CPU when it comes to offline game modes. Online, unless you're taking the squad into ranked, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to have an entire squad of Team Affinity 2 players that you will need stat missions and PXP missions for, because in Battle Royale we draft, and then inside of events there will always be certain restrictions when it comes to the rules of the events. Like this one, for example, it's only letting you use NL and AL West and NL and AL East. So if the Central is what you need to go ahead and complete Team Affinity, then you're out of luck unless you go ahead and enter ranked with a team full of AL and NL Central players. So online it's a little bit more difficult. I highly recommend finishing off your grind offline and keeping track of all the stat as well as PXP missions that you are completing. That way you don't overlap. By doing all that, you will be able to get to 100% in Team Affinity 2 and get yourself 90 non-sellable set 2 cards that will be great help when it comes to this set 2 collections, as by collecting 90 of these and completing the entire Team Affinity 2, you will be very close, if not at Rich Gossage, which is 95 collectible cards. And if at the same time you've been doing your other programs like the Kaiju program as well as the Top Style program, it's gonna take you all the way up to 130, allowing you to also collect Big Pop. If you enjoyed today's content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Check out the description for the Twitch, Discord, social medias, as well as how to become a member. We stream daily from 8 p.m. Eastern to 1 a.m. Eastern. Have a blessed day and night. Stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.